Millions, I'm sure.
My dumbest financial decision.
Potatoes with pants on or something. Hullabaloo, boom chocolate.
Oh no, don't worry. It's a penny machine.
There's a lot of pennies. Make an executive decision.
They're very supportive. They're awesome people. Like, I love my audience. I owe them everything.
So welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
You've never been back.
I haven't been here.
Welcome here, Dan.
Welcome to Don't Sweat It.
Yeah, man. And we're not going to sweat it. So we're here inside, actually my living room, because we're not going to do the sauna this time. We're going to switch it up. But Dan, holy crap.
Right.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You
Your
run a
channel's
gambling
amazing.
channel where you play slots. So tell people what you do.
11 years ago, I decided I just moved to Vegas, and I was like, I'm in and out of the casino anyway. Might as well record my slot play and throw it up on YouTube, and maybe I'll make a couple bucks back. Like, that was the biggest channel when I started, had maybe 4,000 or 7,000 subscribers. It was a really small niche.
Wow.
And
So Dylan actually introduced me to this new concept that I didn't even know existed, which is gambling channels here in Vegas. I, being a Vegas local, didn't even know you could film in a casino, which you said that, I mean, now I guess they're better at it. They let you?
yeah, so when I first started, like, nobody had a policy to allow you to film, and you'd get stopped all the time. Like, security would come up to you, hey, you can't record, and I'd have to be like, oh, I didn't know, sorry, and turn off my phone, and then if they went away, like, go start recording again. And then now it's like they invite you, like Station Casinos, Cosmopolitan, a bunch of casinos have like a policy to just allow you to film.
Is that why you said your original videos were 10 minutes? Is that kind of why? Because you were like on the run all the time?
Yes and no. At the time, like, most slot channels were only doing 2-minute videos, like little clips of their bonuses. And I wanted to do videos where I spoke and, like, you know, had fun a little bit. So I did a little bit of a longer format.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Well, the reason I ask is because Dan actually showed me before we started the podcast his analytics on his YouTube channel, and it kind of blew me away.
Yeah, me too.
Because the ad revenue is insane. It's for Dan to really tell us exactly how much it is. I'll probably throw it up somewhere in the title of the video, but I want to say the exact amount. But could you share like your progress of how you started, how much maybe you were making, and maybe the ballpark of like how lucrative it's been?
Yeah. So like I said, when I had no intention, like I'm 46 now. So like, I didn't think I'd be a YouTuber or an influencer or anything. It was just, maybe I'll make a couple bucks. So my first 3 months after I started, I got my first check for $1,000 from YouTube. And I was like, I made $1,000 from YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I started to basically make that consistently after the first year or around the first year. It took me, I'd say 3 to start making a comfortable, where it was paying the bills. Like, I wasn't living a lavish life or anything, but it paid for the gambling, it paid for my bills, and that's all I really wanted out of it. Close to 6 figures. And then the last few years, the channel's kind of really blown up, and you know, I don't want to say exactly how much it is, but I just bought a house in January of this year, and I paid cash.
Wow.
That says everything.
So I got no mortgage, I got nothing.
Well, okay, so I will say this. We know the median house price here in Vegas is at least $450 to $500, so we'll say it's at least
It was
that.
roughly that. It was roughly
at least that.
Wow,
Which is
that's
just
I didn't buy a giant
impressive,
place.
yeah.
sure, but that's incredible. So you're posting 2 videos per day, about 30 minutes in length.
Correct.
And how are you placing the ads? Are they every couple minutes, or are you just automatically letting YouTube decide where they're placed? Or
Yeah, so I'm in the algorithm we trust, right? So like,
Yeah.
I don't set the ads. I let YouTube do it all. I don't use keywords. I don't use tags. I
no
don't use
descriptions, nothing.
I let the algorithm handle everything.
That's incredible.
It's so raw. You're just going out there.
Yeah.
That must be what people love about you, is your personality, just being like a real identifiable person.
So it's interesting because right before I watched your videos, I was like, okay, so Dylan described these like gambling channels. I was like, okay, so they're probably going to teach me how to like make money and like how to card count like blackjack. Here's what I'm thinking. or like the kind of like the credit card churning, but with the rewards, because I've heard people make a living with just like casino rewards programs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, is that what Dan does? And like, I clicked on your videos and I just watched this guy gambling for 30 minutes straight.
Yeah.
But the charisma you have on video, you're kind of narrating what you're doing.
Right.
And then like the screen goes by because you're primarily playing the slot machine. And you're just, the personality is crazy. Was that just you've always been like
We
that?
would
Or?
call it like Twitch for a different generation. Like, is that?
We'll get into the
feels like that?
demographics, but
Okay.
But how do you kind of approach it? Like, how do you make 30 minutes of literally pressing a button fun?
I don't know. Like, it's a stream of consciousness. So like I'm an only child, and I grew up kind of alone, and awkward and stuff. So like I spent a lot of time alone. So I think if you grow up like that, you just kind of learn to have fun by yourself.
Right.
So like sitting there pushing a button and having like a little audience to talk to, it just kind of came out. Like, it's a stream of consciousness. It genuinely is. Like, half the time I'll finish recording, I'll be like, what did I say? Like, did I say anything I shouldn't have? Did I like, because it's literally just coming out of me as I'm kind of having fun and playing.
If you're an only child, here's how you get rich.
Right.
You go to
Starting
slot
YouTube
machines.
channel.
I can relate. I'm an only child too.
I'm
and
an
I
only
feel like-
child too. This is
really?
we're golden. Yeah.
I feel like you're always in your head. That's why.
Always in
Like,
your
you have
head.
no one else to talk to. So, like you said, you have to make it entertaining.
So then
Yeah.
just
But-
stream of consciousness.
Now, as far as like going to the casinos, first of all, which casinos do you play at? Is it just one specific one, or do you kind of rotate, or?
No, so I go all over town. My biggest kind of selling point, besides the commentary and stuff, is I find all the new games as they come out. So I'm kind of everywhere. I'm at South Point one week, Green Valley one week, Cosmopolitan one week. Like, I'm constantly just looking for the newest stuff to play, because it's also fun for me. Like, I enjoy the new games.
Yeah. And then how much do you put into the machine every time you play?
It depends. So I'll start with $100, and then when it runs out, I'll say I need to make an executive decision. That's why I wore this.
Get the merch.
Yeah. So like I'll put in, till I get bored or till I get a nice bonus or something. So a natural cutoff point is kind of what I look for.
Right. So you just kind of dollar cost average into the machine when it runs out of 100. You're just like, I'll put in more.
Yeah.
I'll put in more.
Yeah.
What is the most amount of money you've lost in a single day?
Oof.
Because like, I have a huge gambling history. Like, I don't gamble, but my parents used to, and it was bad. Like, it was an addiction to the point where they would gamble their entire paychecks away. And I remember my parents just freaking out over like how they're going to pay rent that month. And like,
You and I had very similar parents.
really,
Very.
I'm terrified of that, because I feel like if I went and tried playing, I would just get addicted. How do you control
I went
that?
the other way with it. I'm like, I'm just gonna be like my parents. So I, so I gambled a lot. Like, I've been gambling since I was 16.
Wow.
Because they would, like, my parents didn't take me to Disneyland. I didn't go to Magic Mountain. We came to Vegas a couple times a year. That's all they did.
Right. That was the culture.
And they would give me a roll of quarters, and I'd hit the arcade. And then around 15, 16, I was a really big kid. I realized I could just wear a baseball cap and like keep my head down, and I'd be able to gamble and nobody would notice.
Oh, underage?
Yeah, 16.
What?
I've been gambling since I was 16.
On like the strip?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
I
Yeah,
did
and
not
so
expect
I
that.
would always play games where I knew I couldn't win more than $1,200, because I knew that's when I'd get caught if I got a jackpot.
Why $1,200?
Because that's when you have to go to
That's
the
when you have
cage?
to. That's the WTG. That's the cutoff for taxes.
Wait.
So
What?
So if
Explain
you
this.
win less than 1,200 in one go, there's
Yeah.
no W2G. There's no paperwork.
After 1,200, you have to report it
1,200 has to be reported and
to the
over.
casino.
To the government.
Oh, to the government.
You get
okay,
a
yeah.
W2G.
Yep.
Because
Wow.
he's 16. He's like, oh, where'd you get this money?
Dude,
like,
right.
Oh,
Yeah, so I play like
I put a
Keno a
baseball
quarter
cap
at
on
a
and-
time or something.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
Speaking of degenerate parents, like there was several times where
they
they
proud
were
of
out
you?
of money on the Vegas trip, and I had one at Keno, so I would loan my parents money.
What?
Like as a 16-year-old.
You're like, I'm working the machines better than you, Pop. Like, here you go.
Did you guys was there a strategy to what you did, or you're just like, nope, here's my like budget, I'm just gonna go and YOLO it?
Yeah, there's no strategy.
There's no
to
strategy,
slots.
okay.
Like you go in expecting to lose, or you should go in expecting to lose,
Right.
and whatever little nut you make, it's like gravy. Like it's just you're thankful for it.
What's like the most amount of money you've won in a day?
They're both numbers. Loss and win is about 20.
$20,000,
Yeah.
both loss and win. And is that on video?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, my biggest win on video, I want to say, is about 14,000.
14,000.
Yeah.
What machine was that?
There was a grand jackpot. There was one on the Panda slot machine from Every. There was one on Mighty Cash Ultra 88 from Aristocrat.
That's so funny. You know all the names. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't know what these are. Oh, hello.
No,
I guess,
they're-
I guess when I was like, which machine? It's
manufacturers,
like, oh, yeah.
publishers.
We have a special guest here.
Yeah, Rita's in
Can chime
frame.
in. Okay, so
You better
$14,000. You win 14 grand. What then? Do you just? I mean, like I feel I would walk away instantly. Like, do
Yeah.
you continue the video or?
Well, if I don't have half an hour, I do continue the video
You
until
still
I
have
have
to
half an
continue
hour.
it. Oh
I
my God.
like making my episodes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So even if I win right at the beginning, I keep going till I hit roughly a nice ending point around 30 minutes.
Okay, so considering how long you've been gambling in your life, give me some like statistics because I feel like the house always has an edge.
Of course.
Over the course of your lifetime, do you feel like you're up or do you feel like you're slightly down?
Oh, I'm way down.
Way down.
Way down from the gambling. Anybody who plays slots is.
Right.
Like there's no beating these, right? They're just
Right.
math machines where you stick in $1 and you get 90 cents back or 88 cents back. And that's literally all there is to it. So
Yeah.
like over the long term, you're gonna lose.
Is that the most, or is that the like what's the minimum that you bet, or just $1 every spin?
Whatever each slot machine has a
Whatever
different
the machine
minimum.
is.
What's your go-to?
Right now, I'm comfortable around starting at $5, and then I per spin, and then I push it
5
to
per
like
spin.
10.
Whoa. Do quarter machines even exist? Is that a thing?
Yeah, how cheap can we get here?
Okay,
they
on the
exist.
slots?
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Okay.
the sketchy parts of town? The
No,
penny
there's
slots?
you get quarter machines everywhere.
I just feel like with all this inflation, they're like quarter machines.
Most of the
Yeah.
games we play are penny machines.
Okay.
But they have a minimum bet of, let's say, 88 cents or $1 or 75, but they're still penny machines.
Wait, how does
technically.
that make sense then?
Just a lot of pennies.
It's a lot of pennies.
Oh no, don't worry. It's a penny machine. It's just you have to bet 500 pennies every turn.
Yeah, the credits all count up
It's
in
all penny machines.
Yeah, it's all
1 cent
penny
increments.
Dude. But
Yeah.
okay, so you don't touch blackjack, poker, none of those games.
So I used to play online poker for a living for many years, but now I'll play poker recreationally once in a while. I play table games with my mom on the channel every Wednesday, so we'll play like Pai Gow or Ultimate Texas Hold'em or something. But that's kind of limited to that. The rest is all slots.
Oh, with your mom. That's such a cool way to connect with your family too. Bring your mom there. She was the gambler who inspired you.
Yeah, that's
And
kind
like-
of that's
and
how
like
we've
have a
bonded
moment?
over the
Yeah,
years.
like-
Like your parents, they were just
Sure.
gamblers, so that's kind of been our thing since I was little.
Continuing the tradition.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So just 30 minutes of straight up gambling, and that's just people are just glued to it.
Yeah, it's
Who's the demographic?
Yeah, like what are they saying in the comments? And like, who are the people?
So it skews older, and they always like the comments are very flattering and very kind of like I don't miss an episode. I wait till 9 a.m. for your first upload because I upload at 9 and 1 every day.
Okay.
And it's like people literally wait till the upload time, and then they like. It's amazing. It's such a great
Dude,
audience.
there's probably families all around the country that are sitting around tables and they're like, "Did you see Dan today? Like he got a big win on that one machine. Next time we're in Vegas."
Yeah, and I make up because it's a stream of consciousness. I make up words as I go sometimes. So like people say my vernacular becomes part of their family vernacular.
right.
So like they pick up on some of my dumb sayings, and it becomes like something they use in the
Is that one of your
casino.
big catchphrases? Like, make an executive decision.
When I put in
Boom,
a second
spin.
100, I call it an executive decision.
What are some Danisms?
You're kind of it's kind of like wrestling.
So the executive decision.
Yep.
I use boom shakalaka sometimes when I
Okay.
win.
Oh, big
I
win.
invented a word called follow baloo one day. And it's-
Follow-baloo.
Yeah, like I was just frustrated, right? So when I get frustrated, I don't curse on my channel. So I'll say something like
Follow baloo.
potatoes with pants on or something like that to avoid cussing.
Yes, yes.
And so like one day follow baloo just came out, and like people love that. Like other channels have
Looks like
started
Jeremy.
using it. And I'm like, you guys are using a word that's completely made up. That means nothing.
But in your community, it is.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
word for you guys.
Yeah.
Like
So-
the way doctors have special words. So do you.
Isn't there
Right.
like a secondary benefit now, though, that I'm assuming you're spending so much money at the casinos? Wouldn't they want you to like, maybe stay at their casinos
gotta
for
be
free?
royalty by
Do you
now.
get comped everywhere you go?
So I don't have to pay for dinners and stuff at the casino anymore. So I eat free several times a week.
Pretty
I want to
good.
do that.
If I ever want a room, it's always comped. If I ever want to go to a show
Wait,
or
okay,
whatever,
so hold on.
it's
before
Free
you go-
shows?
hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
How do you? Okay, so explain how
Killing
this
it.
works.
You're
How does
living
this
the
work?
dream.
So you're like, I just want to eat. Do you? what do? You go up to like the box office? Like what?
Do you know
how
who
do you
I am?
ask?
Yeah, so if you
Check
don't
out my
have
You
a-
even know who I am?
like, I demand help. No, so if you play regularly, you usually end up with a host, and he's the one you contact, take care of you. But even if you don't have one and you gamble semi-regularly, you could just go up to the desk, the Players Club desk, and be like, hey, I'd like $50 to this restaurant or $100. Can you ask a host if he can give that to me? And if you have enough play on your card, they will.
Wow. So do you have any actual like status? Because I have diamond status with Caesar's Palace, but I got it through like a credit card. It was like an automatic thing.
Yep.
Do you have any of that, like the top tier cards or
I'm top tier basically everywhere.
like everywhere?
Everywhere.
That's
Everywhere I play regularly.
incredible.
So I'm chairman at stations. I'm titanium at Boyd.
Give me some interesting like tiers, because I know there's like the noir at like
Yeah.
was it MGM? Which one was it?
Noir?
Yeah, I feel like it was like at the Crystals or somewhere, like the Aria Casino. I don't remember where.
I know some casinos have like secret levels.
Yeah, like the secret
black
level.
card
Yeah.
and stuff at the top level. That I'm not
Sure.
that level anywhere. I don't play that much. Like I
Right.
play more than the average person because I have the channel, but I'm not one of these high rollers that's like
Sure.
dropping $200 a spin. That's
Right,
just
right.
not me.
Right.
So I think that's how you get to those levels. But I always tell people, if you're if you're local and you want to get status somewhere, Boyd, in my opinion, is probably the best one, because once you get to Onyx and Titanium, once a year they let you flip through a little booklet of a free gift that you could pick through, and it's like high-end stuff. So when I went in for mine the first time, it was like, or this year, it was like a titanium luggage set or an iPad, a brand new iPad.
Whoa.
And so I was like, well, I should pick something I wouldn't buy for myself,
Right.
right? Because originally I was looking at like a luggage set. I'm like, I need a new luggage set. But I was like, get something that you wouldn't get for yourself that you want. So I got like a brand new Les Paul guitar with an amp. And like I'm about to start taking guitar lessons because at 46 I want.
That's amazing.
Dude, you hit the spin and then hit a riff.
Wait,
like, people
so
love it.
Boyd Properties or Boyd Casino? Or
Boyd Casino. So that's
Boyd
like
Casino.
the Orleans. It's with the California, Gold Coast, Aliante,
Okay.
Main Street Station. Those are all Boyd.
How much money do you think you have to spend to get to those tiers per year?
Have no clue.
Okay, we'll look
Yeah.
that up. We'll put that on the screen.
Yeah.
And see. Well, so okay, so you get free shows, free dinners, free comps, free hotels. You can almost, I feel like live for free.
Yeah, can you tell us about some of the personal connections you've made with maybe like the cocktail waitresses and the people who run the slot machines? Like, what's going on with your relationships?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, as I've gotten more successful, I try and be generous, like tipping well when you eat and that sort of things. And I think I've built like they're always happy to see me when I come in. Like my host at one of the properties, I won't say where, he's trying to get me to film one of my special episodes. So I did a thing where I gave away money to people. He's trying to get me approved to do it over there. And he's like, everybody here loves you. We really appreciate you coming in. So like, I think just being a good person and being generous and stuff kind of helps establish
Yeah.
those relationships, and people
Right.
respond to that.
Do you have like one specific story where somebody came up when you were winning and said something funny or anything that would be like kind of humanizing?
It was not even 2 weeks ago, and this is kind of a common theme that happens. Like 2 weeks ago, a lady came up to me, and she as soon as she saw me, she almost started crying. She's like, "You have no idea what you do for us. My husband has stage 4 cancer,
Oh.
and he doesn't have long, and like you're literally the only reason he smiles in a day.
Wow.
Like
He
your
just loves
videos are
watching
the
it.
only thing that cheer him up, and he's over there playing. Can I go get him? I'm like, of course. And like, so he came over and we hugged, and you know, we took a pic. So that's like pretty common. Like people all the time are like, I have like really bad stuff going on right now, and your videos are the only thing that cheer me up. And so
Yeah, that's incredible. I
Yeah.
imagine you get a lot of people coming up to you, especially in Vegas, because your videos get over 100,000 views every day, and you do
Twice a day.
Twice a day,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is, and they spend 30 minutes with you.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, yeah, the kind of
And
connection
they can be like
you
half your
bond.
subscriber count. I mean, those are really positive signals to your
Yeah.
audience caring about your content.
Yeah, they love it, and they've responded so well, and I am so grateful.
How has your life sort of changed with the success of it all?
Yeah. So I gave a speech on my channel 5 or 6 years ago where I talked about like kind of how my channel saved my life. Because up until 5 years ago, I was 500 plus pounds my whole life. I mean, I'm heavy right now, but I was over 500 pounds since I was 18, basically. I think I hit 300 at 16, and then by 21, I was 500 or 400 plus, something like that. And I didn't leave the house. Like between 30 and 40, I didn't go anywhere. Like I was basically a shut-in. And it was because of the channel, because I had all these obligations, and the YouTube landscape was changing to where you couldn't really hide behind the camera anymore. People wanted to see you. People wanted to get to know you. And this other channel, Brian Christopher, came along, and I was about to hit 50,000 subscribers, and he like just started rocket shipping because he was doing everything I wasn't, right? He was doing meet and greets, come hang out, we'll play together, and those were all like kryptonite to me. I'm like, I don't want to be around people. I'm scared of people. So that was kind of a stressor in my life, and also kind of motivation to where I was like, all right, we'll do a meet and greet in a year, and I told myself I have to lose this weight. And literally, I gave myself a year, and I got down to 214.
You look amazing, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I've put on 100 pounds since COVID.
That's who didn't? Everyone did.
Yeah, but it saved my life in so many ways.
Wow. Yes.
So many ways.
That's incredible. How did you because I see your videos, and I would have never guessed that you are as not as sociable as you said you were. How did that transform? How did that transform? Did you just have to evolve, or did you make yourself uncomfortable? How did you grow out of that?
Yeah, a little bit of aversion therapy where you just kind of do it.
Yeah.
Like doing interviews or podcasts. I usually don't, but I'm like, I would love to have this conversation. I watch your videos all the time and stuff. So I was like, even though you don't feel comfortable, go do it.
Right.
Because normally, sometimes I'll regret it when I do that, but most of the time, I'd say 8 out of 10 times, I walk away going, I'm glad I did that.
Yes.
For the record, on our email, there was hesitation. Like, he kind of came in, and then he's, I don't know about the heat. Like, we would do it without the heat, but no, I don't know. Maybe.
Didn't I take a week to answer
yeah,
you?
I did.
Because I had to be like, I don't want to do this. I hate doing this stuff.
That was
but
your
I really
internal
want to talk to
monologue,
Andrei.
huh?
And I was
Yeah,
like,
no, we were just talking, and I'm like,
That's
this
cool.
podcast does not make money yet. Hopefully someday it will, but I do this because I always love talking to interesting
meeting
people,
people like
and I'm
you.
not very social. Like I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm antisocial, but I'm very bad at networking.
Yeah.
And this podcast just gives me the opportunity to just meet new friends and like cool people, and I've never heard of this thing existing. And
It just exists. Like,
yeah, I'm not antisocial either. I'm just bad at it.
Sure,
I'm
same.
awkward.
Same.
And I feel, and I think it's part of the only child thing. Because you're just
it is.
used to
Yeah,
being
maybe.
alone. You're like, I'm around people. Am I connecting?
For
What's
sure.
happening right now?
We're all like,
That's
we've got
true.
plenty of people up here. There's like 12 people at this chair right now.
Right.
Like, there's like 3 physical bodies and all sorts of only child characters up in our head.
My friends are in my head. This is true. This is true. Let's talk investing, though. Now that you've made a lot of, you have all the success, how do you invest now? Like, where do you prioritize? Do you invest? Do you just save it all? Do you stash it away?
Yeah, so I've kind of taken some advice from you over the,
What advice? I've never good advice.
you and a couple
Graham.
other channels and Graham. So I've put some of my money in cash. I bought a house for cash. So I figured that'll lock
That's
away.
great. Actually, I wanted to ask, why did you pay? Because I paid for this house in cash as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my reasoning for it at the time was like I couldn't get a loan.
Me neither.
Same. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Yeah. Because it's never really a good idea to pay so much cash for a house if you can just get a loan on it. Like when I bought it, it was like 2.5%.
Right.
I wish I could have gotten that loan, but no bank would have approved me.
No bank would have approved me.
Same,
And
right?
And plus, I don't like debt. I feel like when you start accruing debt, you start having to figure out where your next check is coming from because
true.
you owe that debt.
Yeah.
And I'm debt free, completely debt free, and I want to keep it that way.
That's smart.
So
That's smart.
What about your finances in the earlier days when the channel was making only $1,000 a month? Were you just finding time for it in the evenings or working another job, or how did you kind of
so at
manage
that
all
time
that?
I was like the 500-pound kind of shut-in. So when I moved to Vegas, poker had just ended, like online poker, Black Friday.
That's right. Yeah, it was huge poker. Yeah.
And it went away overnight. So when I moved to Vegas, I was like, well, I'll play live poker. And then I realized I suck at live poker. I'm not very good. And I was like, well, what do I do for money? And this is so stupid, but Storage Wars was really big at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll just go buy and sell stuff. That seems fun. And it was amazing. I did that for 2 years where I just went out every weekend to estate sales and yard sales.
You would go to yard sales and just buy
Just
stuff?
And buy stuff
knowing
and then
you
sell
could
it on
resell it.
Amazon
You just
and
flip
eBay.
it.
You flip it.
Wow, what kind of stuff?
Like everything. So video games. So like my first week out, I found a box of old Super Nintendo games, and I was like, hey, I'll give you $10 for it. He had like, I don't know, $5 each on it or whatever. It was like Sunday. He's like, yeah, go ahead and take it. And I went home, I started going through them, and there was a game in there, a Super Nintendo game called Earthbound.
Yep.
And I looked it up, and it was worth $180 at the time. I don't know. Right now, it's probably
That's
worth.
amazing.
And I was like, I bought this for $1, and that like was like the beginning of the end. I'm like, this is so fun. And then I would find like boxes of coins, silver coins, and my favorite story is I was out, and again, it was like a Sunday afternoon where you don't expect to find anything, right? Because stuff gets picked through. And there was a big bowl on this table, and it was red, so it looked like it was copper. I'm like, eh. But I opened it anyway, because I looked on the bottom, there was nothing. And I opened it anyway, I don't know why. And it on the inside, it said 825, which is silver, 80% silver. Oh. I'm like, this thing is silver? It's gigantic. And the guy had $5 on it. And so I was like, hey, man, I'll give you $3.
Oh, no. Even though you already knew?
Well, I mean, you're
like,
it's hard to get out of that
like
mindset.
$5,000 out of this?
And I flipped it for $1,400 the next morning.
What? Where do you sell it? Like,
I went to like one of the dudes that just buys gold and silver. And,
to be fair, you owe that guy $2, but
yeah,
it was like
what? So
Yeah.
you're basically doing Pawn Stars.
yeah, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was so much fun, and it allowed me to still be a shut-in.
Yeah.
And allowed me to like still be my kind of fat, like I don't want to, because it was just a couple days, right? Everything else was from home, shipping and boxing stuff and all that. So it was really just I had to work maybe 2 days a week, and to make my living.
Just
and
because Pawn Stars is here, I have to ask: do you go there just for fun?
I've never been there.
Never been in it.
Never been
Oh,
there.
okay.
I feel like still that's a side hustle that you can do to this day and make a pretty good living at if you were to do it full time.
Yes, and it's a lot of fun. Like if you actually enjoy learning, because like I learned about like
It's looking stuff up.
mid-century
Yeah.
modern furniture and
Right.
stuff. Like because I was like, what else can I flip, right? So I constantly was trying to grow my knowledge of what I could flip easily and that sells well. So if you like knowledge and you like learning, like it's a lot. It's treasure hunting every weekend.
What are some of the coolest things you found? It was the game and the
The
silver.
games, that big
That's
silver
insane.
bowl. One of my favorite stories is there was this rundown yard sale in Henderson, and like we're talking just trash, right? Like just you're like, why is this person? Is this just stuff in his yard that he decided to put a sign out, and like, or is this like? And there was this little turtle, an ashtray. And I picked it up and it burned me because it was in the hot sun all day. And so I put it in the shade for it to cool down while I looked around. Then I pick it up and it was like turquoise and bronze looking little ashtray turtle. And I flipped it over and it said Hecho in Mexico, and then it had like a name. And I was like, all right, I bought it. It was like $1. I took it home and I researched it, and it turned out to be by a famous Mexican artist named Pepe Mendoza. And I sold it to a lady in New York for $700.
What?
Yeah.
From $1.
From $1. Like it was.
You should call this guy with your refrigerator. Like,
Dude, I know.
Dude,
Oh my god.
Andrei gave away a refrigerator that was broken, but it's like a $10,000.
It was a $10,000 refrigerator, brand new. I'd never turned it on. I mean, I turned it on, but by the time I bought it, we were working on the house. So I bought a bunch of the appliances before the house was finished, but this was during COVID. So our 4-month estimate turned into like 6 months, and all the appliances that I bought, they were out of warranty to really return anything. And this appliance, the refrigerator, wasn't turning on. And I couldn't return it. It was a $10,000 fridge.
So you didn't even try to get it.
Well, the
looked
mental
at?
So
hiccup
I
was
did.
that it took
I-
6 guys to move
Well,
this
no. Okay,
elevator.
so let's back up. I did try to repair it.
Okay.
And there was a professional that came in, and he got it to work for like a week. Then it broke again, and he's like, "Listen, I could fix this for you. I'd have to take apart the whole thing. It's gonna cost at least $2,000 of my time and in parts to even figure this out." And I was so busy with YouTube.
You're like,
I was
"I'll
like,
just buy a new one."
I'll just buy a new one. And from that point on, it sat in my garage for like 2 years. And
it took up
I'm
a
an
really
idiot.
awkward space too, like a space you kind of need in your garage.
Yeah, it was an
like you
awkward
had to
space.
like work around this thing.
Why'd
It
you
wasn't
even
in
keep
the
it
corner.
at that point?
I know. I'm an idiot. I'm like, how do I get this thing out of here? I need to pay someone to get it out of here. And I'm like, wait, why am I going to pay someone? I could bet there'd be so many people that would love to pick this thing up and
Right.
sell it or whatever. And man, I posted it on Facebook Marketplace. In like 2 minutes, someone was like, I'm
Yeah.
here. picking it up.
What'd you sell it for, or did you just
I
give
just
it
gave it
away?
away.
Oh,
Well, he
Yeah,
was
gave
about
it
to
away.
actually go the other route and pay someone
was gonna
like
pay
a bunch of
someone to
money
get rid
to
of
get it
it.
out of there.
And I'm like, oh, let's not be dumb.
Well, and then these 3 guys show up, and we're like, "There's no way they're gonna get it perfect."
No,
They
it was
moved
2 guys.
Oh, 2 guys. Yeah, sorry,
2
2
Hispanic
guys.
guys. One was like 4 feet tall, and another one that was like 6'4". I'm like, they're not
Right.
getting this
And
fridge
Andrei's
out
like, it took 6 of
because
these,
it
like,
took
tall
6
6-foot guys
6
to,
foot
like, move
Mormon
it.
guys to get it out of it, to get it installed.
And they did it. And
But they did it.
Yeah.
Do you know if they fixed it and flipped it or
I
whatever?
have no idea what they did
Okay,
with
I'm
it.
sure they did.
I'm sure it was a
I'm
good day
sure
for
they
them,
did.
though. I'm sure it was a great. They're like, we made $8
That was
grand. fixing this
arguably
thing?
my dumbest financial decision. At that point, I'm like, I will never buy things until I need them. But I just
There was like a mental relief you needed from that.
yeah, but I mean,
think-
COVID messed everything up. It's just the time delays. You couldn't even get a fridge. In
Really?
that time, yeah, you could not get a fridge. They were like a hot commodity.
I guess everything was having supply
Everything.
Yes, and, like,
shortages.
wood,
yeah,
everything.
bricks,
Even to this
everything
day,
was
like some are still going on.
Yeah.
Supply shortage wise.
Speaking of, you said you bought a house.
I did.
Are you gonna? It's a brand new
Build.
build.
Yeah.
Is it built already or?
Oh yeah. I moved in January.
Oh,
So I bought
okay.
standing inventory.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're not.
Do you have
gonna,
a slot machine at home just for like
No,
fun to play with?
no,
Oh,
I want to
wait.
make my own though.
That would be crazy. Do you think that would work if you? No, that probably wouldn't be as interesting to people though. If you
What if I
just,
played at home?
If it wasn't
Yeah.
real money.
No, there's definitely an aspect to it where you need to have skin in the game.
And I imagine your audience also comes to Vegas. They're trying to see the experience that they're going to have when they vacation and stuff too, because they're not all visiting your house. So.
Yeah, not just that. They go to the specific casinos that I go to and play the specific machines they see me play. Not just generally I want to play this machine, which also exists, but they will oftentimes go straight to the casino to play that very machine.
Do you have any sense for how much value you provide to the casino?
I
Like
think
how
a
much
lot more than
marketing?
they think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
The value that you're providing is insane. I bet there's a way for you to quantify it. Like I've always talked to a YouTuber friend of mine who does like traveling content here in Vegas, and she reviews like places to eat. And like I told her to do a coupon book where it's like you can go to all the places that Norma's favorites. This is Norma Jelly, by the way. Where people can go to your favorite like restaurants, your favorite hotels.
That's a great idea. Her
And-
own coupon book.
Yeah, coupon book that you can get access to perhaps through a Patreon or whatever it is, but it'd be a
Oh, but
quantifiable.
it's also the records. of
Yeah, it would be a
what-
quantifiable way of
that's
how
Oh,
many
you can
people
quantify it,
you're
yeah.
tracking to there, which I feel like you could do so many things if maybe, I don't know, although I don't know like the legal issues of that, but if people got like credit if they mention your name, it's like, oh, if you mention Dan's channel, you get like, I don't know, $10 worth of credit to play, like some kind of voucher. That would be
great. Getting a casino to agree to something like they're
that's
surprisingly
true.
cheap considering they just print money every day. They are surprisingly frugal.
that, and I bet there's so
not
much
bad.
red tape and so much
a lot of-
bureaucracy there in the casinos. It's like you said, you have to wait like 3 months to get an email back from an executive.
Because it's got to go through 50 different people
Right.
who all have to give feedback. Like,
Right.
The bureaucracy of these giant companies.
Do you-
Okay, so we have to ask you though. Right now, Las Vegas casinos and a lot of slot machines are completely hacked. Like
That's
this thing is
right.
going very
MGM.
viral. That, yeah, it's from what the rumors. I guess it sounded like Caesars paid $30 million to actually pay the hackers and get their access back, and MGM said no, we're gonna fix it ourselves, and their slot machines are down. So how has that affected at least the filming this week? And
They're
what do you think
still
about the
down.
hack? What's the? Have
Yeah,
you been
Dan,
in
how
the
could you?
casinos?
Yeah, thankfully I don't go to the strip that often.
Yeah.
So it hasn't impacted me at all.
Got it.
You didn't feel like going to MGM just to see the broken machines?
I
or
didn't go.
anything?
Like I had a friend in town who was at Aria, and I was gonna meet him Monday morning, and he's all like, "Dude, all the machines are down." He's all
Wow.
like, "Don't bother."
Why don't you go to the strip properties much?
Well, the Caesars properties are still kind of hostile to filming,
I see.
and the rest of it is just the crowds, and like it's a lot more crowded. It's a lot more. I try to avoid crowds still.
Right.
Your audience viewership doesn't go up if it's a major casino versus if it's an off strip?
I don't think so. I mean, I now that you said something, maybe I'll do like a week of strip videos just to see
Just
if it
to
has
see.
an impact. But I don't think
Okay.
so.
Because I would have
Because-
imagined it was people visiting to Vegas and they'd be more likely to be on the strip, but I don't know. Maybe
because you also don't announce necessarily what casino you're at, right?
I try to.
Oh, you try to.
I
Okay.
try to. I forget sometimes.
Okay.
But most of the time, I try to say where I'm at. And people will like. So many of the people I've met this week have been kind of at like Aliante, which is kind of the furthest casino out in Vegas you can get to up north. And I've run like people who are like, we're staying at Harrah's or whatever, and we came here just hoping to find you. Wow. So they drove all the way from their vacation here on the Strip all the way to Aliante Casino just to hopefully bump into me.
That's
which is
incredible.
It's that stream of consciousness. They're so connected to you as a person, you know? I mean, I think your personality is probably such a big part of it, too.
What are some fun games that you would recommend or that are your favorites?
So right now I'm super big on 3-bag games.
3-bag
What does that mean?
games?
You gotta be very simple with me.
Yeah. So okay. Let me give you some of the. So the slot industry has gone through a few revolutions, right? Like when we went from 3-reel slot machines to video, that was huge. And then figuring out you could put a bonus in a slot machine was a revolution. Like you get 3 bonus symbols, you go into a bonus round. That was kind of a revolution. And then the next big revolution that happened. 2016, I don't remember exactly. Aristocrat came out with Lightning Link, which introduced the hold and spin mechanic, which is those balls that you see that you got to collect 6 balls with like credit numbers on them, and you go into a different bonus, and that kind of took over the slot floor. If you walk around now, half the games are hold and spin games.
Wait, so you spin a slot machine and then there's a ball or like a number that pops up, or
so you spin it like a normal
like
slot,
ping pong balls with numbers or something, or I don't know if I've seen these.
and some of the symbols, instead of just regular symbols, are balls with credit numbers on them.
oh, it's almost like the lottery kind of. Yeah.
But like they're just on there,
but it's all a digital screen.
yeah, it's all
Okay, so I was
video
thinking,
reel.
but it looks a little bit like Keno or something. And
Yeah,
you're trying
so,
to put the
like,
numbers. Yeah,
like
okay,
you
I
got
have seen this. I
cows
have
and you
seen
got
this.
whatever, and
Yeah.
then
Yep.
sometimes there's balls with credits on them, and each game is a different mechanic. But the base mechanic is basically if you get 6 of those balls, suddenly you get all those credits. Plus, you get into a bonus round where you try and fill up all the other squares.
So the
of
numbers don't have
reels.
to match. It's just if you get enough of the balls,
get
you get
enough
all
of
of the
them,
credits totaled
it
up.
kicks
I've
off
never
the
understood
bonus
that.
round.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of a huge revolution because, like I said, almost half the games on the casino floor now, I'd say like
They have
40% is a hold and spin kind of game where you have those credit ball prizes.
Right.
And then a couple years ago, they came out with 3-bag games, which I fell in love with. And essentially, instead of like having to land 3 bonus symbols to trigger the bonus in the slot, you land 1 coin and it flies up to one of the bags, depending on which color it is, and it randomly pops and gives you the bonus.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, that scratches that Skinner box itch in my head, where like every spin, I'm anticipating a bonus or something, and it's hitting all the right dopamine marks. Like
Right.
and I love that mechanic. And each bag is a different kind of bonus, and you could combine them to like super bonuses. So it like the completionist kind of video game achiever in me is like, oh, I got to get all 3 at once. That'll be epic.
What?
I love that grin on your face as you tell it all. Like you can just tell the 3-bag mechanic is like.
I love that mechanic.
Do you think that you're addicted, or no?
So I would say I used to be. Like I would say the last 5 years of my channel, I play more for my viewers than I do myself.
Okay.
Like I still enjoy it. Like you could tell when I'm talking about,
But
like,
he
I
could
love
quit
these
anytime.
games.
Yes.
But I play more for them
Right.
than I do myself now.
You think you could quit anytime if you wanted to?
I think I'd always gamble. Like
Right.
it's a
Part of what you
form
do
of
for
entertainment I enjoy and I grew up with, so it's kind of ingrained in me. But I don't think I would gamble to the extent that I'm gambling now. Like right now, it's under normal circumstances, anybody would consider it excessive, except for the fact that I have a YouTube
anybody who
channel.
can gamble and make money consistently probably would do what you're doing.
Right.
Like you're doing a great thing.
Do you ever get people that say, like, do you ever get any negative comments that are like, well, you're just making money from YouTube rather than gambling?
No, so most the negative comments I get are like, you're annoying, you talk too much, I hate your voice,
Right.
I
stuff
put you
like
on mute.
that.
Like, come
Right.
on,
You know, God forbid I ever show myself, you're so ugly, you know, stuff like that in the comments, and you're just like, Jesus, dude, you're sitting at home talking trash on
Right,
YouTube.
right.
But no, none of the in fact, like people are like, in my comments, they often celebrate the success. They're like, "I'm so happy you've got this success. You deserve like literally comment after comment. It's not just one
Supporting it, yeah.
They're very supportive. They're awesome people. Like I love my audience.
That's
I owe them
amazing.
everything.
That's
Why do you think
amazing.
that is? Is it the demographics or just the guess the whole
I do
the
think
whole
it's the
genre
demographics.
came up with it.
I do think it's the demographics because your demographics are
I skew older for sure.
like 35 to 64, right?
Something like that.
Primary, yep. That's Yeah, and I feel like older people are generally more respectful, more supportive, they're more mature.
There's that, and I think also kind of the connection, because I talk like I'm talking to them in the video, and so there's this very real, like I'm there with you, playing next to you kind of vibe to the videos that I think helps.
The more passionate your audience is, and the more they love you, you also have occasionally like a stalker or two, and you have people. Do you have any of those stories?
Yeah, like it's been weird in this, like. So I think I started to realize, my channel's really growing when I would get like random emails of like, not just so I've always gotten the, hey, I'm going to be in town, I would love to gamble with you, but then I started getting like, oh, hey, I'm coming through town if you want to hook up. Oh. Kind of emails. And I'm like, oh, no, stranger, sorry. Like, you know? And then recently, the last year, I've got a couple people who are just like this one lady. If you're watching, I'm sorry. She emails me like 5 times a day. Wow. And like, she tells me God is telling her that she's supposed to be with me and that she's taking prenatal vitamins to move to Vegas and have kids with me. And I'm like, what do I do with this?
What do you do?
I just save the emails, and if she ever shows up, go to the police. Like, I don't know what else to do.
Oh, yeah. That's flattering, but also terrifying.
Terrifying. And then I had one lady who I recently blocked. Sorry. Because, like, she started, like, for the first while she was commenting, she was like, I'm coming in October and I want to cook you dinner. Can I please cook you dinner? And I just kind of ignored it.
Sure.
Because somebody cooking you dinner is kind of a really intimate.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'll just ignore this. And then she started escalating to where, like, a few months ago, she started, like, my birthday was 9/3, September 3rd. And so she was like, everything I won, she'd comment, wouldn't it be better if you won 9/3/77? Because that's my birthday. And I was like, that's weird. And then a month later, she was like, what significance does this date have to you? I know it's not your mom's birthday or your dad's birthday or their anniversary. And I'm like, that's weird. And then a week later, she's all like, oh, hey, do these numbers ring a bell? And it was like the street addresses of places I lived growing up.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm like, I have to block this person. Like,
yeah.
What more, like...
She's going to send you social security numbers next.
Like,
it's your credit card numbers.
Like, isn't that wild? Like, she was posting addresses like I grew up in as a teenager, as a child. I'm like, how? Like, she's done a full background check on me.
Yeah. I've actually had people show up even to this house or even wait outside the house until I get home. And then they're just like, I've got these business ideas for you that I want you to invest in. And sometimes it's scary. And I mean,
do you talk to them? Do you give them time?
I mean, I do to what extent I can, but it is uncomfortable.
It's scary.
It's uncomfortable. I've had people show up and be like, hey, I've had people knock on my neighbor's door thinking that,
looking for you.
Dude.
Yeah,
your neighbor's like, oh, Andrei Jikh lives next door? Let's go hit him up.
Dude, I've had neighbors that are like, dude, do you know this person? I'm like, no. He's like, I'm so sorry because I told them that you were right there. Oh. And then they just want a picture or something. And
has any of them been dangerous in any way?
Thankfully, no. No one I've ever met has ever been negative or said anything bad. They've always been really supportive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, super nice.
Just don't understand boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Which
you publish your P.O. box a lot. Do you get interesting stuff there?
I haven't checked in a while, but I used to get a lot of stuff like playing cards, magic trick stuff, coins.
The reason
t-shirts.
I shut mine down is because I went like 8 months without checking it. I'm like, I forgot. Like, why do I have this?
Yep.
And it was just, I had to shut it down.
Yeah, no, I actually had one package that like freaked me out, which was an envelope, right? And outside the envelope, it was like one of those like the flap with the the metal little tabs that like that come out. But underneath the tab was like a half of a woman's underwear, like just like
sticking out,
a thong, like sticking out. And I'm like, dude, why would anyone send this to me, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I would open it, but I told Corey, I was like, we have to open this. And thankfully, it was actually a gag prank gift.
Okay.
It was like you open it and then you take it out and it's like a little piece of paper that whatever. So
thank God. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I probably shouldn't have opened it, but I was like, there's no way this is real. Like, this got to be a joke. And sure enough, it was. But yeah, I've had interesting gifts that people have sent. There was a YouTuber here that lived in Henderson, I was telling you about, who who does vlogs. I'm not going to mention his name, but he was. There was a group of people that went down the mountain and broke into his apartment, broke into his house, shot him several times, and I mean he survived. But it's interesting that I see there is a correlation between how you come across on videos, and if you're showing off your jewelry or your money. You cultivate this audience that I mean,
like when you're challenging them, kind of.
Yeah, it's almost like you're calling them out, and people feel bad or guilty that they're not at that level, so they can break in, and it's just not even worth it.
Yeah, and part of it, like people are just getting hungrier, and you know, like
it does feel like the world's kind of pushing harder on people than it used to.
Right, like a bunch, you know, like there's so many industries on strike now and stuff. You could tell that people are just hungrier in general.
Yes, there is a restlessness, and I feel like it's all very cyclical too. In the finance space, especially, like when there's what's going on now, like there's less people watching finance and investing news, and more people are angry. They have every right to be. But then when we have a bull market and everyone's making money, then everyone is, you know, happy and less chances of that happening.
Yeah.
But it's all cyclical. It's like the longer you can stay in the game,
Well, let me ask you, since you asked me where I was putting my money and where should I put my money? Like I don't have that much, by the way. I'm not like
Sure. Yeah, I can't speak for everyone, but I guess it would just depend on like your age and your financial situation. But since you're not in debt,
no
which is really smart, and you're diversified, you have real estate on your portfolio, but now technically you're skewed heavy into real estate.
I got stocks and I've got cash, and those are my three right
Those
now.
are pretty much all you need, I'd say.
What do the stock allocations look like?
Mostly like Vanguard, VTI stuff, and then I've got a few plays in like the AI space.
Sure.
But
what's the AI space? Just kind of curious. Like, that's my. Like,
I have bots. I've got
bots like
BOTZ.
Oh, BOTZ, got it.
And there's a few others in that same kind of category, and then I've got IBM, Google, like on their own. And I've also, the most money, I believe it or not, I made is off a slot company. So I kind of like went through.
because you probably know that industry so well.
Right.
Yeah,
so I kind of went through, I'm like, okay, these guys are overvalued. These guys are overvalued.
Who's publicly traded in that space? Aristocrats? Is that a publicly traded company?
Australia.
Who can you, I'm just curious, who can you invest in?
IGT,
if you know
Light and Wonder, a few others. I don't know.
Okay.
But the one I made the most money off is called AGS. And I bought in at about 480, I think, and I put quite a bit because I was like, they're going in the right direction. Like I like their games. They understand their footprint in casinos is growing from what I could see. Wow. So I'm like, these guys are going to blow up, and I think they're going in the right direction of Aristocrat, kind of the similar trajectory that Aristocrat had. So I put a bunch of money in them. And every time they do like an announcement or a quarterly or whatever, they shoot up to like 850.
Wow.
And like every time I'm like, I should sell and rebuy because it always goes back down to about 650 where it's
it's bouncing.
So I've made 50% on my investment.
Right.
Just because you know that cycle so well.
Yeah.
That is, I love when we get a guest on here that knows an industry that specifically. You can actually see the footprint in casinos. That's truly unique
I'd say that's a fun way of like investing a smaller portion of your asset base.
Right now, half my stocks are in that company.
Oh man!
But that's just because I believe.
But also, wouldn't Warren Buffett say something like, "Look, he knows this industry so well. He should be."
Yeah,
like,
I suppose some people say diversification is like because there's and
the rest of it's in a broad index fund. I don't know.
Sure, because he said your first best idea will never be as good as your second best idea, which I get. But also, you never know what happens with.
It just feels like you have an unfair advantage, I would say, when it comes to investing in those companies, because you're putting time in on the casino floors nobody else would.
Yeah, but I don't think it's just like, hey, I like their games. This stock's going to do great.
Right.
I think that's not a correlation.
Because they've got so many moving. These are billion-dollar companies with like 100 different.
You don't know anything about their P&L.
They've got like a lottery branch, and they've got their all this. I don't know any of that.
You don't know how they're managing their finances, what they're putting on their
Always the
but just based on the trajectory of this smaller company, I was like, I feel like there's solid investment, and they've been great for me so far.
Yeah, I like the VTI and the ETFs there.
Yeah,
those are what I stick to really.
Just the ETFs.
I just keep it simple. Yeah, and then of course I had some cryptocurrency and some Bitcoin.
I sold all my crypto.
You sold it.
Yeah, I mean, I made some money on Bitcoin for a little bit.
That's smart. It's good to take profits. Did you sell at what point?
17.
When it was 17. Okay,
yeah,
that's not bad. Yeah, that was sort of the top of the last bull run, but. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I have friends who bought in at $100 and stuff, and I'm like, I wish.
Sure.
You know, like I think I bought one at that time.
Do you have any plans to sort of expand your YouTube channel? Like, what's your plans?
Yeah, you can invest
I
in
would-
yourself
I-
at this point. Your brand's strong enough on its own. Yeah.
So I've got 2 plans for that. I want to elevate what I do, like with the kind of giving away money thing that I've done a couple times now. So that's one. I want to keep elevating how we make slot videos. Like one of my ideas, like I want to partner up with a locals casino, and I pitched this to one of them. But I was like, listen, I want to rent a bus and just go down to the strip and be like, hey, who wants to come to a locals casino? I got $100 cash and a free buffet for you.
That's amazing.
And just grab people off the strip and take them to a
you'd
locals
have so many
casino.
takers.
Yeah.
And film that whole process, right? Like I think it'd be just huge.
I would call those in the YouTube series like the hero videos. You don't do them every day, but like you do it like once a month, maybe.
Right.
See where it goes, and if it blows up, great, do more.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's smart.
So I want to elevate my videos that way, and then I also want to pivot into development. I want to make my own slots and my own app and stuff, but that's so expensive.
It's incredibly expensive. Anything that's software related is insane.
But
Yeah.
for the record, it's getting a lot cheaper thanks to AI.
AI.
Like is that part of why you seem kind of interested in it? Are you how close do you follow the AI space, or what tools have you used?
So I recently discovered your channels. I've watched a few of those, but
thanks.
I've watched Matt Wolf
Of
for
course, yeah.
a long time now. And so I've tried, like I have a subscription to Midjourney. I play with it all the time. I do my concept art all in Midjourney now for like my concepts, my ideas for slots and
Do
stuff.
you also edit and do everything yourself as well, or do you have a
Yeah.
team?
No, I do everything myself.
Everything yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
no team at all, huh?
No, just me. I have one guy. He does my designs, and I just recently started like letting him edit my larger production, because like multi-camera editing, I hate syncing audio and all.
Yeah.
Like I just
Yeah.
right.
Story this.
Yeah, exactly. So like I let him do that now, and he's done 2 videos for me and done a phenomenal job. But 99% it's like I do my own Photoshop, I do my own editing.
That's great. So
I
an
love
app,
your
and you're
story.
just going to elevate and invite more people to be a part of the process.
Yeah. Like I want to make my own games. I think
Executive
I crush
decisions.
at it.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, like because I've been playing since I was a kid, right? Like who knows these things better than somebody who's actually been.
What's stopping you from doing it so far? Is it just
Money?
Money? Okay.
Yeah. It's just the barrier to entry in this industry is massive.
Yeah. But now you've got a little bit of a snowball rolling.
I've tried to get manufacturers to take me seriously and let me kind of enter their. Nobody has yet, and I've offered a sweetheart deal. I'm like, you have to give me nothing up front. I want no cash. I'll even kick in some cash myself. I'm like, all I want is a back end. Like if it succeeds, I want to participate in that success.
Right.
And I will promote your app or whatever in the meantime as kind of that trade. Like nobody's taking me seriously.
Why don't you buy what's already working out there potentially, like a smaller app, a smaller game that's on the come up that you can sort of, repackage maybe or rebrand.
Oh, because I want to develop my own.
You just want to start from
Yeah,
scratch.
it might be hard to
Yeah.
find someone like that too. There's probably not a lot of opportunities. Just like buy an app that's in the right space.
Well,
I
maybe.
mean, there might
yeah.
be, but
Yeah, and
It's
like
not
it's a
clear to me how
very
easy that would
specific
be.
app I want to make. It's
Okay.
like social casino meets like Sims and auto chess.
Right.
Do you play auto chess games?
I play chess games, but what's
that?
auto
What-
chess?
So auto chess is this genre of game that's pretty recent, and despite it having like no major success, all the big players are going for it. Like Riot has an auto chess game, Blizzard has an auto chess. They got Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and essentially it's you set up your board. Like characters with whatever, and then they just automatically play each other based on where you've set them and what their stats
Oh,
are.
interesting. Okay.
So you just you do the strategic bit and then hit go and
and
they
then just see
basically-
how it plays out.
Yeah,
It almost reminds me of like Command and Conquer, but like autopilot.
yeah, and I love that genre. So
That's
like I'm
cool.
trying to combine that with social casino in one of my
That's
Huh.
a cool idea.
yeah.
Well, dang. Okay. Well, man, thank you for coming on and sharing with us.
Oh, man,
Yeah, this
everything.
is
Yeah.
amazing.
I feel like I've learned so much.
By the way, how many times do you think you've hit the spin button in your entire life?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's millions.
Started at 60 millions.
Millions.
You've hit the button a
Millions.
million times
Millions, I'm sure.
Wow.
I'm sure.
since he was the baseball cap 16-year-old.
Yeah, millions of times.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on
congrats,
that success.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
check out the Vegas Low Roller.
Where can people find you?
VegasLowRoller on YouTube. That's
And
all I do.
Instagram?
I don't. I mean, I have an Instagram. I don't
You
really
just
use
like-
it.
Just
Yeah,
use YouTube.
literally just YouTube.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, go check out Dan.
Yeah, it was an amazing
He's
conversation. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
For having me, man.
Yeah,
I
of
really
course.
appreciate it.
That was a blast.
Thank you.
Dang.
That was awesome.
Dude, that's so cool.